you believe in will leave your faith and confidence bereft of any grounding in reality. Johnny faces this hard truth when he is forced to confront the trauma that defined his childhood. When he was small, he disobeyed his father to save his pet mouse, Danny. Because of that choice, his brother Nicholas was killed after his horse was spooked by the very same mouse that Johnny saved. This event created a fatalistic complex within Johnny. He believes that the very world turned against him as punishment for his sin. But this belief is fundamentally solipsistic. Johnny thinks he is the main character of the universe's tragedy, but he's wrong. The world exists beyond him, full of truth and beauty that he ignores. Johnny learns this the hard way when he faces Sandman. Sandman is the perfect foil for Johnny at this stage in his development. Johnny is a man that has a minimal understanding of the spin, only really knowing it in relation to himself. Sandman, by contrast, is a man of the earth. He runs barefoot, understands the wind vibrations in the land itself. Not only does this difference put Johnny at a severe disadvantage in a fight, but it also limits his ability to grow as a person. Johnny tries to use the same belief that worked before, trying to brute force the shot after Gyro is taken out of commission in the river. He aims, he spins, and he fires, but his nail bullets really aren't enough. It's in this moment that Gyro makes a last-ditch effort to teach Johnny Lesson 4 of the spin in the crucible of the fight. The lesson? Pay your respects. But Gyro refuses to give Johnny an easy way out until he says, I can't do it 4 times. And when the situation becomes dire, Johnny finally stops looking at himself and starts looking at the world. He uncovers a major insight. The perfect rotation isn't something that you create within your own head. It's something that you find. It exists in nature, in the leaves of a fern, in the wings of a butterfly, and in the shape of a tree. To unlock Tusk Act 2, Johnny has to learn how to appreciate the world through paying his respects. He has to humble himself. He has to stop looking at what he wants to kill and actually start looking at what is the world. When he finally stops panicking and connects with the golden rectangle in nature, his power fundamentally changes. Tusk Act 1 was a bullet. It went straight. Tusk Act 2, by contrast, is alive. The holes don't just damage things, they move and track their targets. They flow. This is the lesson. Johnny stops trying to dominate reality with his will and starts aligning his will with the natural order. He realizes that he is just one small part of a greater flow. He wins this fight not because he is the strongest, but because for the first time in his life, he appreciates the world instead of himself. Now, despite having learned a valuable lesson about appreciation, Johnny is left at a low point after the fight with Sandman. Hot Pants healed him and Gyro, but took their corpse parts, leaving Johnny with only a small segment of the spine. He has effectively lost most of the miracle that gave his new life meaning. But in the snowy wilderness, Johnny and Gyro are given a new opportunity at the corpse parts through Sugar Mountain. But Sugar Mountain has an important condition when it comes to this trade. You have to use everything you get from it up. While Gyro and Johnny find a way to use up all their money, they didn't realize that they had to exchange the corpse part as well. And Johnny is now left with a choice. Keep the all-important corpse and let Gyro die, or give up the corpse and save his friend. The old Johnny, the narcissist we saw at the start of the story, would have let Gyro die. But Johnny makes a different choice. He trades the corpse parts to the 11 men for a bottle of wine to save his friend. He gives up everything for Gyro because Gyro gave him so much. This is the most critical realization in Johnny's journey. To gain the world, you must first be willing to lose it. This sacrifice proves that Johnny is no longer the selfish boy who cut the line at the theater. It proves he now has a soul worth saving. And only because he passed this test is he strong enough to face the nightmare that comes next, the Civil War. Even Gyro's fourth lesson isn't enough to truly move Johnny beyond his paralyzed spirit. To continue on his path to walking again, he requires another miracle. Johnny simply has too much guilt resting within his soul to truly overcome the struggles that hold him back as a person. Ultimately, sin weighs heavily on his mind because he still isn't willing to humble himself by admitting that he deserves forgiveness. In the Civil War arc, Johnny faces the physical manifestation of his guilt, of the things that he left behind. The Stan Civil War forces him to confront everything he hates about his past: his pet mouse Danny, whom he believes killed his brother, and the father who rejected him. He is trapped in a cycle of self-loathing. He physically cannot fight these enemies because, in a way, they are him. He tries to escape and tries to fight back, but the guilt just keeps regenerating. Jesus Christ then speaks directly to Johnny for the first time, giving him an answer. He whispers,
Yep,
"Listen
that's a
well.
sentence.
Your
Oh
heart
my
is
god, it's
angry,
this guy again.
and do not shoot, because then the door to a new path will be open to you." Immediately after this mystical message, Johnny's legs begin to move ever so slightly. Initially, Johnny shrugs off this advice because he can't see the meaning behind those words. But after purifying Axl Rowe and learning about the perpetual nature of sin, he discovers the only path forward: forgiveness. This brings us to Tusk Act 3. Johnny has to turn his gun on
This is a
himself,
fantastic
not to
hand.
commit suicide, but to enter the interiority of the infinite spin itself. By shooting himself with the spin, he creates a wormhole, a spatial distortion that he alone can safely enter, and is only able to do so by sacrificing his own ego in turning his gun on himself. Johnny learns about the interiority of the soul from Jesus, that one must be willing to look within oneself and commune with the infinite to find a path beyond sin, to defeat the things that you left behind. Tusk Act 3's ability is essentially a physical representation of the sanctuary that we can find within our souls. This leads to a moment of pure paradox. To pursue the new path given to him by Jesus, Johnny attempts to pull the Holy Corpse into the void to destroy it. To the outside world and to Gyro, this looks like madness. It looks like sacrilege. Gyro begs him to stop, but this is the nature of Johnny's newfound faith. It is a personal and paradoxical journey. Johnny realizes that to truly honor his relationship with Jesus, he must be willing to destroy the remaining material symbol of the saint. He trusts his personal connection to God more than the rules of the world. And Johnny was right. He wasn't lost anymore. Johnny discovers that he cannot undo the past. He cannot bring Nicholas back. But he can find purification. By allowing
Well, he has a
Axl Rowe
servant
to kill
now.
him, he sacrifices the Johnny Joestar who hated himself. He sheds the weight of his negative past and enters the interiority of his own soul, the spiritual sanctuary where he might finally find a path to reach zero. Through the very mechanisms of the Civil War fight, Johnny realizes that to move forward, he has to be
I
willing
don't
to
have a lot
really
of
forgive
removal as life
himself.
bursts,
At this point,
considering
Johnny has
I
still not
opened
made it back
all
to
of my
zero.
lepises.
While this was an incredibly
Well, actually, I
transformative
still
moment
have
for
one
his
more.
soul that gave him the capacity to get there is still an essential lesson that he really doesn't understand. Even with forgiveness, Johnny's journey isn't over. Johnny has
Fucker.
begun treating his internal wounds, but he is still facing the temptation of his own dark determination. We see this crack in Johnny's development
It says
when
4, but
Johnny
they
and Gyro
realistically have
prepare to
8
retrieve
more
the corpse eye from
life
Diego
for me to
Brando.
go through.
Johnny argues that if Diego defends himself, they will have to kill him. It's the easy solution, the negative solution. Gyro completely disagrees. He shows Johnny that such drastic violence is unnecessary. This is Johnny's risk of falling back into the abyss. He is so close to reaching zero that he is terrified of taking risks. He just wants a shortcut here. They separate, leaving this unresolved, and Johnny is punished.
One. Yeah, I can draw three here. Hmm. Are you jonkling me? All of their servants were in the fucking life burst zone. They only had one in the deck. I'm not gonna be dealing any lyric damage at this point. And honestly, that might cost me the game. I mean, I don't think I was gonna win anyways, since we're playing against an actual competent deck. Oh no, wait, I'm fucking dumb. I